Sometimes people ask me, or lately people have asked me, why I even bother dealing with the psychology of the person, which to me seems like an odd question. But firstly, I don't believe in, I don't solely believe in Western culture's idea of psychology. I think it can be helpful, but I don't believe in it. I think it's got lots of gaps because it's based on our current way of thinking and believing that we are separate, we live in time, and that we're born and we die, and that this is who we are, we're this limited person. And to me, any philosophy that's based on that can never be that accurate because it's based on a lie. But I do think the use of looking at your psychological makeup can be in the breaking of the addiction to the story. If you're really unconscious about your dynamics, then you're unconsciously seeking, and seeking is what separates you. So if you're very unconscious that you're still looking, say, for your mother's love, or your father's love or something, then unconsciously you'll be seeking this in every interactions that you have with people. And this will create a lot of pain for you because you'll be looking for the attention of your parents in your work environment, in your relationship, in your hobbies, in your interactions on Facebook, in the spiritual teacher. You'll always be looking for that validation which you feel like you never got as a child. And this is never gonna be ending unless it's recognized for what it is. And the way that it's recognized is through understanding how your thinking mind works, understanding how your body works, and bringing into personal awareness that dynamic. And what I mean by personal awareness is the awareness that you can move, the awareness that you can either put on the outside, so on what's happening outside of your building, say the birds singing, or you can put into the room, you can put on the sound of my voice, or you can put into your big toe or into your fingers. So you move that personal awareness onto the feelings in your body and to the thoughts of your body. And when you're, say, at work and you're interacting with your boss, you move your attention into your emotional feelings, and you'll see, if you surrender enough to it rather than in defense, rather than in trying to defend what you feel, you'll begin to see what's really there. And it could be that from your boss you're wanting the approval that your dad never gave you or your mother never gave you. And you just become aware that that's happening. As soon as it's brought into a personal awareness, that dynamic will begin to change. Once you realize that you're stabbing yourself in the foot, you're not going to carry on stabbing yourself in the foot unless you're enjoying the pain. Once these things are seen, they will change naturally. You don't need to put any effort into changing them. There just needs to be a recognition of them. And eventually, the personality will become stabilized, and then there can be a seeing beyond that you aren't that personality structure, that you aren't that seeking pattern, that you aren't the body, that you aren't your experiences, that you aren't this person that's born, has 80 years of life and dies at age 85. What you are, who you truly are, is present, which is what is, which is this empty looking and this sense of I am, this sense of existence. And that's never moved and is always here, and everything comes and goes and moves in that. So everything you think and feel isn't who you are. So some people get into a radical way of thinking that that's all they need to see, that they just need to see that they are that big consciousness, that big I am beyond themselves, and then that seeking dynamic will stop. But from my experience, while you've got strong addiction to the story, you will carry on seeking. And the way the addiction works is a longing for a completion in a thing. So a longing for a completion in a drink, in a drug, in a person, in a situation. And you'll keep doing it, and you'll keep repeating it again and again and again and again. whether it be addiction to thinking, that also can be an addiction, to Facebook, that can also be an addiction, to sex making, TV. And this, it's not that you'll become addiction free as such, like the body has its tendencies. It's seeing that what you seek is never in those things. When you separate at a young age, so when this separation happens, you look for your wholeness, your completion in these addictions, in getting the mother's love, in getting the father's love, in being successful. And you can never find the big I am and the big consciousness in that. They're right here. They're what's always happening. They're hiding in plain sight. They're in every experience you've ever had. And this is unconditional love if you think about it. Because if they were in a thing, then it's something that could come and go. This is something that never comes and goes. It's always right now. You never get out of right now, no matter how much you change the scenery. You could look at it like a film screen, although this is maybe my least favourite way at looking at it, but it's a nice analogy. Like presence and the big consciousness is the screen in which the film's played on, and the characters in the film are having all these dramas, and this is happening, that's happening, and then one gets on a spiritual path and is looking for home, and home is what's always present. Home is that which is always here, in which everything plays out on, and the moving is an illusion. It's not really the way it's happening. There's not really someone moving around in time. Another way you could think about it is if you've ever done a virtual reality game. I did one last summer. It was super cool in Berlin. I just got an email recently saying they've updated it and they've got a new game in Berlin, so I know what I'm doing the next time I go back to Berlin. And you can also buy these virtual reality headsets yourself, but I had a bad experience on that. A friend put me in one, and they gave me the most flying game, and I didn't understand the principle of just staying still when you fly. I was going here and there, and everything was moving, and I couldn't think to myself to stop moving so much, and this created a lot of sickness. So by the end of the game I was so sick and I couldn't think to stop it. I was so involved in the game. So you could think of it like a virtual reality. So imagine if you put on this virtual reality headset. So you put one on and you were looking through the eyes of John Malkovich. I don't know if any of you have seen the film Being John Malkovich, where you can go into somebody's head and experience what it's like to be this person. So you could put these Google goggles on and you could feel like you're John Malkovich, and you watch John Malkovich, and you're the watcher watching through John Malkovich's eyes. But imagine if you began to watch for such a long period of time that you began to forget that you were the watcher looking through his eyes, and you began to believe you were him, and that you existed in this virtual game and this virtual reality, and that you really were John Malkovich, and you were in relationship to the world, and everything became super, super serious. And then you meet a character, and the character says, "You're not John Malkovich, you are the person watching John Malkovich." There's somebody in the head watching John Malkovich. And you're like, oh yeah, this is a virtual reality headset. Oh yeah, forgot about that. But this is the dream of consciousness and the I am. But this consciousness and this I am is totally mysterious, because it isn't a thing in this world, so we can't ever know what it is. We can't ever see it, because it's nothing and it's everything. We can't know what that is. We call it mystery or God or divine. There's many names for it, but we don't know what is actually looking through the eyes or what is actually hearing the sounds. It's a total mystery. So our nature as the big consciousness and the I am is absolute mystery and absolute possibility. It's infinite possibility. You know what happens on the human level as you begin to hear this message and as these awakenings start is that you begin to expand to that more, and you begin to become on the human level a more open human and not so dictated to by your thoughts and your ideas and your conditioning. There's another part of you which opens up to these possibilities that might not actually be the truth, that everything is real might not be the truth, or that there are bad people in this world and they should be put in jail, that this might not be a reality. There might be something else happening which is totally mysterious, or that this is right and that is wrong. So on the human level you begin to expand to more and more possibilities. And actually as you begin to expand on the human level to more and more possibilities, you begin to find that your life begins to change, that you don't push things out so readily. You're more open to the experience. Maybe you could say there's a quality of becoming more childlike. You know how children, maybe not on the intelligence level, but children have this sense of mystery, this sense of oneness. Not sense of oneness, a sense of wonder. And they are more spontaneous, like they say things that they think instantly. They don't hold back. So everything's possible. On the human level, we often don't think like that. We think lots of things aren't possible because of this or because of that.